Hi Verbling, my name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about sentence correction. We'll be correcting lots of mistakes made in sentences and then trying to trick each other with our own. This is a class that was requested by a student, and the last class was as well. I've had requests for future tense and requests for sentence correction. I also have a few other requests coming up, including things like poetry, book excerpts, sarcasm, humor, fairy tales, environmental crimes, and things like that. If you guys have a topic you'd like to see covered or any ideas, creative, fun ideas for future classes, definitely let me know. Message me or contact me or let me know in class too. Just say, hey, I'm looking for a class on blah, blah. And I can get that together. I love to make new classes. It's as fun for me as it is for you. So let me know. All right. The document is on the screen where you can join. And I'm also going to screen share for you guys, of course, if I can find it. There we go. Okay. Ksenia, welcome back.
Hello again.
Good to see you again, Ksenia. What are you doing today? Is it an English full day?
No, I don't have a lot of time to study English nowadays.
Oh, I'm glad you're spending it with me.
Yes, I have only free time in the evenings.
Ah, great. I was lucky. I got the same free time as you. Okay, and Ahmed, welcome back. Ahmed, are you there?
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you again.
Good to have you. Okay, so this sentence correction is going to be all kinds of sentences that they have a mistake. Some of them are really easy to pick out. Other ones are a lot more difficult. So we're going to go back and forth and read these sentences and then figure out what the problem is, how we can fix it, and how to avoid it in the future. Let's jump right in. Ahmed, will you do number 1?
What do you suggest us to say to your mother?
So what do you think? What's wrong with it?
I think the problem in the prepositions, right?
You think it's a prepositional problem?
Yeah.
Well, try and rephrase it, and then I'll let you know if you fix the problem or not. What's a better way to say it?
What do you suggest for us?
Aha. So you changed something that does improve the sentence. What do you suggest for us? So the problem with this sentence is really that you cannot put an object directly next to suggests. So it's a common mistake. People will say suggest me, suggest us, suggest them, but it's not possible. So one possible way to fix it is to add a preposition, suggest to us, suggest for us, something like that. Or another way to fix it is to make a separate clause to say, what do you suggest that we say to our mother or your mother, whatever. Well done, Ahmed. Thank you. All right. Catalina, welcome back.
Hi, teacher. My connection is terrible today. I am very frustrated.
I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens, and it's really annoying.
Yes, I know. But I am here.
That's what matters. That's what counts.
Okay.
Would you like to do sentence number 2? We're doing sentence correction. So just read it and then try and find the mistake.
How many days do we must wait? How many days we must wait without do?
Yeah, no do. So And I would even rearrange that a little bit. So I would change it to how many days must we wait? In this case, because we're using that modal, it takes the place of do as the auxiliary verb.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, Catalina.
You're welcome, teacher.
Ksenia, will you do number 3?
Yes. My mother had visited Paris first, and then she visited Madrid.
Any
I think
ideas?
we should put had before visited in the first clause.
Okay. So she had visited Paris, and then she visited Madrid. Awesome. I think that's an excellent correction, and I think this sentence in general, it's like possible to put both in the simple past and then use those other words first and then in order to create that. But it's a lot more natural if we just put it in the past perfect, right? So my mother had visited Paris before Madrid, or something simple like that. Thank you very much, Ksenia. Excellent correction. And you know what? Maybe it's Google Hangouts that's funny today, because everyone seems to be having trouble. And I think in my first class today, I fell out a couple times as well, which is unusual. So maybe we can blame this on Google. That would be fun, wouldn't it? I hate when it's my own problem. All right. Philip, will you do, welcome to class, Philip, of course. Sorry. And will you do number 4 for us?
Yes, Monica suggested me to go to the doctor's. Say Monica suggests that I go to the doctor.
Excellent. Yes, that I go to the doctor. So same problem as what we saw in the first sentence. We can't have that object there. Okay. Number 5, we're back to Ahmed.
Okay, I am born in 1980. I think it should be I was born in 1980.
Excellent. Well done. Thanks, Ahmed. Number 6, Carolina.
For the breakfast today, I had pancakes. And the correction is for breakfast today. I had pancakes.
We don't use an article there. Thanks, Catalina. Ksenia, number 7.
I don't understand what she said.
Oh, she took out the article. No article before breakfast. So for breakfast today, I had pancakes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Ksenia, go for it.
Will you going to the party next week? Maybe are you going to go to the party next week, or maybe will you go to the party next week?
Excellent. So you've identified that we need to change to one or the other. We either need to say, are you going, or will you go? Definitely a change needs to be made, not a combination of the two. Thanks, Ksenia. Philip, will you do the next one for us? Number 8?
I've lost my keys again. Oh, tricky. It's a bit tricky. I don't know. I don't see the mistake.
It's a tense problem.
Oh. Okay, I lost my keys again.
Yeah. I would say I lost my keys again, because it's like something that happened. I lost my keys, not something that it takes a period of time to happen.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Number 9, Ahmed.
Okay, Claude suggested to go to the cinema this evening. I think it's suggested going to the cinema.
Exactly. Suggested is one of the verbs that needs a gerund after it. We cannot attach a to infinitive verb there. So just change it to the gerund form. Suggested going to the cinema this evening. Thank you, Ahmed. Carolina, number 10.
Has she have to go now? I don't know. Maybe have she has?
Not quite.
No. Does she have to go now?
Yes, excellent. The auxiliary here should be does. Does she have to go now? Perfect. Thank you. Ksenia, will you go next?
I suggest finding out more about this problem. I suggest to find. I don't know.
Well, actually, that one seems okay then. I think that one's fine. I suggest finding out more about this problem. I think it's a correct sentence, although I didn't think that there were correct sentences in here. But I think
And I have I have question.
Yeah.
After verbs suggest, we always use to plus gerund.
No to, just the gerund. So it would be suggest finding, suggest doing, suggest eating, suggest looking, suggest running. Always.
Only. Okay.
Exactly. Only. No to plus infinitive like we saw a little bit higher up. Suggested to go. That's always going to be wrong. If you have to go, to run, to eat, always going to be an awkward way to say it, and it should be the gerund form instead. That can be a really tricky one. I recently did a class on gerunds and infinitives because it's something that needs constant practice because it's really tricky. You can look at my class history for it, or if not, I'll be sure to do that class again because people really have trouble with which verbs use ing and which ones need the to infinitive, and it's very irregular. It changes a lot.
Yes.
All right. Oh wait, what number are we on? Number 12. Yeah, number 12. And it's for Philip.
The 9 to the 10th?
Sorry, no, 12. I had the wrong one.
Okay. You don't have to use the stairs because there is an elevator. You don't need to use the stairs.
That works. Though, again, I think this one's correct also. You don't have to use the stairs because there is an elevator. Yeah, that one seems fine. That one seems correct to me.
Okay.
Okay, number 13, all the way back to the beginning, Ahmed.
Okay. What do you suggest we say to your mother? We saying to your mother?
We saying?
Yeah.
So if you're going to add the ing, you definitely also need to have the verb to be, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to make it that, now I feel like it's probably better without it, but if you were going to do that, it would be, we are saying to your mother. But I think this is fine. The only change that is possible to make here is adding that. So what do you suggest that we say to your mother? But it's also okay without that. It's the only possible correction we can make. All right, number 14, Catalina.
I have been to England 4 years ago. My thing is, I went to England 4 years ago.
Yeah, so why did you make that change to went?
Because it's a specific time, 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a specific time, and it's also just one event. Instead of saying, you know, I've been to England, not just I've been there, but I went there one time and I went there 4 years ago. It's too specific for us to use the present perfect. Awesome. And Ksenia, will you do number 15?
I watched TV when suddenly the telephone was ringing. I was watching TV when suddenly the telephone rang.
Yeah, you just got to flip-flop those tenses, and it makes a lot more sense. Okay, number 16, Philip.
I know Simon for 23 years.
So what's up with that one?
Maybe I knew Simon for 23. I know.
Going in the right direction.
I have been knowing Simon for 23 years.
Yes. So if you say, I've known Simon for 23 years, it's perfect because it means it's a period of time and it's continuing up until now.
Okay.
If you did change it, your first suggestion, if you change it to the past, it would also be fine, but it is saying like that it's over. So if you said, I knew him for 23 years, I probably would then ask, oh my gosh, what happened to Simon? Did he die? Did he leave? Where is he? Because if you say, I knew him, it shows that it's like over and done with and an event in the past. So both are possible, but I like your final pronunciation better, your final present perfect sentence the best. Okay, so we're going to pause for a minute and we're going to make our own sentences. I want you guys to think hard about mistakes that you see students make frequently. I want you guys to make a sentence that has at least one error in it, and then we're going to put them in the chat box and exchange. So your object here is to make a sentence that has some small error that maybe is not detectable. You're going to try and trick the other students so that they think there's no error in it, or they can't find the error. Does that make sense? You guys can take a couple minutes to write your sentences, no rush. And think about errors you see frequently, or mistakes maybe even that you make frequently that you think other people also make. I see one excellent sentence already in the chat box. 2. This time we're going to wait for it to have all of them before we switch.
I have the phone.
Take a couple more seconds and get your sentences ready. Put them in the chat box whenever they are. We're going to switch in 30 seconds and try and get them in there.
Teacher, my sentence is in the Berlin chat.
Okay, excellent. I should probably switch both of them. Okay, so I see yours. I'm going to put yours in their chat box and theirs in your chat box. Oh no. Okay, well now we only have 3 people and 3 sentences, so it works out even though poor Ahmed lost his connection. I'm going to switch them and put them both in each chat box and then we'll start. Okay. So let's have Catalina correct Philip's sentence.
I think that I give some advices to my son.
You're definitely on the right track. Some is an improvement, but we have to take away the S from advice because it's not countable, which is why we would need the word some. I give some advice to my son is perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Ksenia, will you correct Catalina's sentence?
I have to find another way to go to the doctor.
So what did you change?
I read of maybe ways, no ways. I think I put it in single.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And to go without ink.
Yep, awesome corrections. I have to find another way to go to the doctors. And I would put an apostrophe S on doctors. Like the doctor's office. Usually we say the doctor's office. If not, we'll just say the doctor's. All right, thank you very much, Ksenia. And Ahmed, are you back? Ahmed, are you there? You're muted.
Yeah, yeah, I just
Awesome.
came back. I'll try to write down the sentence now.
Okay. Excellent. Well, let's see. We've got one more. Ksenia just went. So, Philip, will you correct Ksenia's sentence?
Mary is 40 years old. He's a teacher.
Yeah, we definitely need 40 years, plural there. And then what about the next sentence?
She is.
She is a teacher, right. So Mary is 40 years old. She is a teacher. Thank you very much, Philip. And Ahmed, are you ready with your sentence, or should we come back?
No, I'm not ready yet. Sorry.
Take your time. Keep getting ready, and in the meantime, we will busy ourselves with some other sentences. We'll reverse the order and start with Philip this time. Philip, will you do number 17?
17. When Tom got home, Jane had cooked dinner.
How can we correct that?
When Tom got home, Jane had cooked dinner. I think the sentence is correct. I don't know.
It's a little tricky, this one. It's a very subtle difference. Does anyone know what's wrong with that sentence? There is a mistake here. Nobody sees it?
For me, got home is a little awkward. No? It's fine?
So there's a problem with these two tenses together. Individually, when Tom got home, if you ended it differently, it would be okay. Or if you said Jane had cooked dinner, something, something, it would be okay. But the tenses are the problem. So which one happened first? Did Tom get home first, or did Jane cook dinner first?
Jane cooked dinner first.
Okay, so Jane cooked dinner first. We know that because we have the past perfect here. But it's kind of weird because we have the word when, right? So if I say when this happened, something else happened, it means that that one should be the first one. So the problem we have here is that we either need to flip the tenses, or we need to change the events of the sentence or something. So, or get rid of when. Jane had cooked dinner before Tom got home would be okay. Or when Tom got home, Jane cooked dinner would be fine, as long as we don't use, because in the sentence we have, it seems like both of them happened first, which doesn't, obviously not possible. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand that one, how it's wrong and...
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Let's see. How about Ksenia? Will you do the next one?
We had great time on the top of the mountain.
So what did you change about the sentence?
Maybe we should put article before mountain.
Definitely. And there's one more.
A great time.
Yeah, exactly. We had a great time on the top of the mountain. Thank you, Ksenia. Catalina, will you do number 19?
19. Don't let me to watch TV too long. I have to study for tomorrow's test. Don't let me watching TV too long.
You're really close, but no. So we don't need to change it to the gerund form, but we do need to change something about that part of the sentence. This one's a really unique one in how it works.
I have to study for tomorrow's test.
You were right about the part of the sentence that needs to change, Catalina. You do need to change that part of the sentence, just in a different way.
I don't know, teacher. Maybe I am doing the same mistake.
Does anyone else know?
Don't let me.
Anyone else have an idea what's wrong here?
Yes, we should read off 2.
Yes, we need to get rid of 2. So the sentence should read, don't let me watch TV too long. I have to study for tomorrow's test. Don't let me watch. This one's a really unique format because most verbs, we already talked about this a little bit, most verbs either are followed by an ing word or by a to infinitive word. But this one's a little bit weird because we need an object here. Let me, let him, let her. And we don't use the to. Even though it is the infinitive form, we're not going to use the to. So let me do, let me make, let me cook, let me run, let me go, let me watch. No to. That's the weird
Okay,
part.
I got it. Thank you, teacher.
Sure thing. Ahmed, is your sentence ready?
Okay. Um, okay, can I go for number 20?
Sure. Did you make a sentence or do you want to just do another one later?
No, later.
Okay, we'll do it later. Go for number 20 then.
When have you been to America the last time?
So what's wrong with that sentence?
The
Which one? The word the? The
Yeah.
last time? No, not quite. I'll give you a hint. It's a tense problem.
When I think it's okay for tense.
Does anyone else see why we might want to change the tense a little bit?
When was you to America the last time?
So you want to put it in simple past, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're correct to put it in simple past, though you didn't quite get there. Does anyone else know how we can change it? Catalina, can you at least explain to us why the present perfect is not appropriate in this sentence?
Because it's a question for one specific time. I think that when was your last time in America?
That's one possible way. When was your last time in America? Or you could just take like this simple way and say, when did you go to America the last time? That's another possibility. Both are okay. And you're right about why we can't use the present perfect, because it's just one specific time. It's over and done in the past. If you wanted to keep the present perfect, you'd have to ask a more general question like, have you been to America? Like point blank, in any time in your life, were you ever in America? Would work if you were talking about a more general question. But because we have those very specific details, when and the last time, we can't use the present perfect there. Okay.
But I didn't understand the first possibility.
The first possibility that Ana Catalina said was, when was the last time you were in America?
Okay.
And then the other possibility is, when did you go to America the last time? Or you can play around with the last time.
Okay.
When was the last time? When did you go the last time? Whichever. All right. We're back to Philip for 21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza isn't as big as Rome. As big as Rome.
Yes, exactly. As instead of like. Thank you very much. And I also frequently see the opposite mistake, which is people are supposed to use like, and instead they use as. Like, they're trying to give examples, and they use as instead of like. All right. Aldona, welcome to class.
Hello, Michelle.
Good to have you with us, Aldona. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, we're doing some sentence corrections, and we're just a couple people away from you, so I'll ask you for one in just a minute. Ksenia, you're on the next one, which is 22.
I'm going to hospital to see a friend who has undergone the operation. I think some mistake with the second part. Who has
Okay.
Who has undergone the operation? Who has been?
Who
I
has
don't
been
know.
undergone? No, not
I
quite.
don't know.
The tense is okay here. It's a different issue.
Undergone.
No, that's okay.
For operation.
What'd you say?
For operation.
For operation?
I don't know.
I think, okay, does anyone else have an idea about what is the issue in this sentence?
It's an article problem.
Article problem, yes. Where and how do we have article problems?
An operation.
So I think it is best an operation because this one is something that is not yet introduced. So of course, if this was a person you knew well and you were already familiar with which operation it was they were getting, then you would use the article the. But in this case, we're not really sure what operation they're talking about. So we just use an operation because it's not specific. This is the first time we're hearing about it. There's one other slight article problem. Does anyone else see the other article problem?
Yes, I am going to the hospital.
Yeah. The hospital. I'm going to the hospital. This one will usually, it's going to be the, just because there's usually just one obvious hospital, right? Like the closest hospital is usually the hospital you go to, because why would you go way out of your way and drive hours out of the way to go to a different hospital? If you really need help, you'll probably go to the nearest one. Okay. Let's do 23, and it's Catalina's turn.
23. I've never been to so bad a restaurant. Oh my god, I never been to the restaurant. How can I put the adjective? I never been in that bad restaurant.
Okay, I think you're close to fixing it. You're not quite there. Does anyone else see what the problem is here or how we could fix it?
Maybe such a bad restaurant.
Yeah, such, exactly. So a super common mistake that I see is people exchange such and so, and they'll use one in the wrong situation. Now, such is for nouns, meaning that it's more appropriate here because we're saying such a bad restaurant. If you wanted to change it around, you could say the restaurant was so bad that I've never seen one like it. So if you only have an adjective, you would use so. So bad, so good, so stupid. But if you have a noun like a restaurant, you're going to use such. And the same is true in the opposite direction. Sometimes I'll see people say, oh, it was such bad. But really it should be such a bad something. Awesome. 24, Aldona, it's finally your turn.
I am just such relief to get home. That rain was terrible. In the first sentence we have present, and the second is past. So maybe we could say I was so relieved to get home. The rain was terrible.
Okay, yeah, so you corrected a couple things here. You identified correctly that such needs to be changed to so in this case. Now, why? Why does it need to be changed to so?
Because such goes usually with nouns and so with adjectives.
So what's the adjective in this sentence?
Relieved.
Yeah, relieved. Awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, we can change that to the past. Maybe it would make a little more sense if we say, I was so relieved. I was just so relieved. Thanks, Aldona. Ahmed, will you do number 25?
Okay. I'll go and see Marn on the way home if I had time. Okay, I'll go to see Marn on the way to home if I have time. Right?
Okay. Yes, exactly, if I have time. So, oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to go over. And sometimes it's important for me to point out that a lot of these mistakes are also mistakes, or at least some of them, are also mistakes native speakers will use. For instance, I've definitely heard this kind of mistake come from a native speaker before. This is one that's even more common with native speakers. In fact, a lot of times they won't even realize that it's weird or wrong. They'll say, I'll go and see Marnie, but it really should be I'll go to see Marnie. And then of course you've got to change this one if I had time to if I have time, because it's still a possibility. Thank you very much. Number 26. Who just did the last one? Was it Philip who did the last one?
Yes.
Okay, then Ksenia. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Philip, is it your turn or is it Ksenia's turn?
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hate this movie. It was, it has to be removed. It was shown every Christmas. Not it. Not it.
Yeah, definitely. It was shown every Christmas is a little bit better, for sure. And I think maybe we could even change the tense. If we were going to change the tense, Philip, what tense do you think we'd change it to?
I think it has been shown every Christmas.
Awesome. I think it would be a little better in the present perfect because we're talking about something that happened every year for a period of time. So that's a perfect occasion to use the present perfect. Though I think simple past would be okay, it would be best in the present perfect. Thank you very much, Philip.
Thank you.
Ksenia, 27?
Banan, I know, it's a fruit. And how we should say in a single form? Banana or banan?
Banana.
Banana. But banana is grown in many parts of South America.
All right. Thank you very much, Ksenia. Catalina, number 28.
Jenny stopped to smoke. She will never smoke again. Jenny stopped smoking. She will never smoke again.
Okay, so explain that one to us, Catalina. What happened?
Because after stop, we always use the infinitive, the gerund verb.
You're right in this context. You're right in this context. So it does need to be changed. Jenny stopped smoking. She will never smoke again. But stop is actually one of those really bizarre verbs that has a possibility of also being used with the to infinity or I can't even talk anymore. The to infinitive verb, because it has a different meaning. So for example, if I said Jenny stopped to smoke, it would mean that she was doing something else, like she was reading a book, she was driving her car, and then she stopped that activity in order to start smoking a cigarette, just one. So if you say Jenny stopped to smoke, it means she's taking a break so that she can smoke a cigarette. In this context, it's not possible though, because we followed up with she will never smoke again. So in this context, we definitely need to change it to the gerund form, though it's not necessary always, but here it is. All right.
Okay, teacher. I got it.
Aldona, will you do number 29?
Yes, Bill doesn't pay the bills yet. As far as I remember, yet usually takes present perfect, so Bill hasn't paid the bills yet.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot more sense. Bill hasn't paid the bills yet. Awesome. And well done getting context clues to give you the answer there. Okay, let's try one more trade. So you guys are going to write a sentence that has a mistake in it, maybe more than one mistake. You can put as many mistakes as you like. You're going to write that sentence, put it in the chat box, and then we're all going to exchange and try to find the error in somebody else's sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You can use inspiration from the ones we've talked about, or something else that you think you see frequently, something else that you have trouble with yourself. Chances are, if it's something that's tough for you, it's probably tough for lots of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We've got one already. As soon as we have all 5, we'll switch. I see 2 ready in the chat box. Take 1 more minute and finish your sentences up. It's making them as tricky. Yeah.
It's in Berlin chat.
Okay.
Because I can see the other one chat.
Okay, I'm going to switch them then and make sure everybody has everybody's sentences.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Sure thing. All right, I see 4. We're just waiting on 1 more and then we'll get started. There we go. That's the one. Okay. Let me just put it in the other chat box and then everybody will be ready. Okay. So let's start with Ahmed. Will you correct Philip's sentence?
Okay. The cooker prepares the meal. It's correct.
All right, Philip, what did you have in mind? I think I see the correction you want. Tell us what it was.
The cook.
Yeah, the cook. So in most cases, yeah, we don't put the ER on cooker. Or if we did, it probably would refer to like an item, like a crock pot or something, like something that is not a human. So I would say cook. The cook prepares the meal.
Okay.
That was kind of a tricky one. Very subtle. Thanks, guys. Aldona, will you correct Ahmed's sentence?
The cat lays down on its bed. May I write it?
What now?
The cat lays. That laid. I don't know if it's okay. Lays down on its bed.
So what are you thinking here? That there's a problem with the verb?
Can be.
All right. Is that what you had in mind, Ahmed?
It's just the apostrophe for it's. Here I write it is. When we write it like it's for possessions, I think.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very well done, Ahmed. Well
I
thought
used
out.
to make it wrong.
I didn't understand.
That's another one that a lot of native speakers have trouble with as well. People will sometimes put it in or sometimes not, and very rarely they know exactly which one they're using. So it's kind of funny. Thank you, Ahmed.
Where is the mistake?
The mistake is the apostrophe on its bed. So when you use an apostrophe, it represents it is. Now, when you don't use an apostrophe, it represents a possessive. And in this case, it's supposed to be possessive, but there's an apostrophe, so really the sentence says, the cat lays down on it is bed, which of course is not totally correct. Awesome. Catalina, will you correct Aldona's sentence?
Okay. It is time we go home because it's quite late. It is time to go home because it is late.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need to change them so that the tenses match. So you can change the second one to the present or the first one to the past. Awesome. Ksenia, will you correct Catalina's sentence?
Yes, I'm going in university if I had time. I'll go to the university if I have time.
Okay, so you made it the first conditional.
Yes.
I will go to university if I have time.
Yes, if I have time.
Great. Excellent. That's one way to make it correct. Thank you very much. And Philip, will you correct Ksenia's sentence?
The America is the greatest continent on my view.
Okay, so you said America is the greatest continent.
In my view.
In my view. Awesome. So we've got a couple mistakes there. We probably would not use an article. We would just say America. And not double, right? Because the most greatest is, of course, doubly superlative. We just need one. The greatest continent. And then in instead of on. I like that it had so many mistakes. You had to do a lot of work there. Thanks, guys. Okay. Any questions? No? This is a great time, actually, for any random questions you guys have, because a lot of these mistakes have to do with some really random topics or topics that are all over the map. So if there are any random questions, you guys can totally ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a choice. Two topics that I think I see the most mistakes in are the gerund plus infinitive thing. So we can either spend the next few minutes going over gerunds and infinitives and playing around with that a little bit, or we can go over more of what we were talking about the last class. My last class was on the future context and what tenses to use when. And I think that was kind of tough for a lot of people, and a few of you were in that class. Let me take a poll and see which ones you guys want to cover more. Philip, would you prefer to talk more about the future or talk about gerunds and infinitives?
Gerunds and infinitive.
Gerunds. Ksenia? Which?
Gerunds.
Catalina?
Me too, gerunds and infinitive.
All right. I Aldona, do you agree?
Yes.
Ahmed, also?
Yeah, sure. For
Awesome.
gerund.
Yeah, you would be outnumbered at this point anyways. Okay, so let's talk about gerunds. The most difficult part, I think, of gerunds are the verbs that are possible to use with both gerunds and infinitives. There's only 3 of those. Does anyone know which verbs they are? We talked about one of them today. Which verbs can be used with both?
Stop.
Stop. Yeah.
Stop is one of the verbs. So you can say stop to smoke or stop smoking, and the difference is in the meaning. What are some other verbs? Does anyone know the other verbs that are possible to use with both when there's a change in meaning?
For example, love, hate. No?
Well, love and hate, but that one doesn't change at all in the meaning. I'm actually going to pull up my gerunds and infinitive document so that you guys can see, because although we can use those with both, it's actually really simple, right? Because that's here.
Like?
Did you say like?
Yeah, like.
Okay.
No, it's
So-
forget and remember.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so on this document, you guys can all see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up here are some of the ones you guys went over. These can be used with both when there's no change in meaning. So I can say, I hate swimming and I hate to swim, and it means exactly the same thing. But these ones are a little more difficult because you can use them with both, but the meaning changes. We already talked a little bit about stop. Let's look a little bit at forget. So, I forgot to feed the cat. That means the cat is hungry because he has not been fed. But if you say, I forgot feeding the cat, it means the cat is okay because you fed him and then you forgot that you fed him. So you did it and then you forgot you did it. The meaning changes. Do you guys think that you can create some sentences using that idea? So 2 sentences that have a change in meaning? Let's start with, how about Aldona? Can you come up with a couple sentences for us that are like the example that we see that just change a little bit depending on gerund versus infinitive?
Mm-hmm. I remember watering the plants, and I remember to water the plants.
Sure, so what's the difference there?
I remember to water the plant. It means that I forgot about it. I didn't water them. And I remember. Oh well. I said I remember, not forget.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost the same, but with the verb remember, not forget.
Yeah, yours is actually a little more subtle. The one that you came up with, you said, I remembered to water the plants and I remember watering the plants. So the focus is the only thing that changes in this sentence. When you say, I remember watering the plants, it means you're thinking about the time that you were watering the plants in the past. But if you say, I remembered to water the plants, you're just stating that the plants were watered. Like you thought about it first and then you watered the plants. The other situation is you watered the plants and then you thought about it. So in both situations, the plants have water. But the time that you were considering and thinking about the plants changes. It's a little bit easier to understand, I think, if you use negatives for that one. So for instance, if you said, I didn't remember to water the plants versus I didn't remember watering the plants, it becomes the same as forgot. So I didn't remember to water the plants means plants have no water. I didn't remember watering the plants means that you watered the plants, you forgot about watering the plants, you forgot that you did that action, so maybe you watered the plants twice because you forgot. I know this is like totally a brain exercise. It's sort of difficult. Let's do one more example. Catalina, can you come up with a couple sentences for us using forget, remember, or stop so we can talk about them more? Catalina, are you there?
Yeah. I forgot to study hard, and I forgot study hard for my yesterday test.
So what's the difference between them?
The first one, I forgot to study hard is because I lost my test, so because I didn't study hard.
Yeah, you didn't do well.
And the second one is, for example, I am thinking that in my university I always studying hard, so now I remember that I forgot studying hard. How can yeah, something like that?
Yeah. So in the second sentence, it's kind of a funny one because you're saying, I did study really hard, but then I forgot that I studied really hard. So you do have the information, you're ready for the test, but you just forgot that you studied really hard. So it's kind of a funny one, but it works well and you explained it correctly.
Okay.
All right, Ksenia, do you think you can come up with a couple examples and then explain them?
I think about stop. I stopped to eat some pancakes. And I stopped running because it was very difficult for me.
Okay, so explain the first sentence for us.
The first sentence is maybe I was riding the car and I decided that I was hungry and I stopped my action. I stopped my action and ate pancakes. And the second one, I stopped running. So running, it was my habit. Maybe it was the first step of my good habit, but I understand that it was very difficult for me, so I stopped this doing. I don't know. It's most long activities than the first one.
Yeah, but that was an excellent explanation. Thank you for your sentences, Ksenia. And Ahmed, you're the last one, I think. Go ahead and give us some sentences. Ahmed, are you there? Can't hear you, Ahmed. You're muted. All right. Do you guys have any last questions before we finish up class?
No, teacher. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming and participating, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. No właśnie, cholera jasna, gdzie on to? Ja nie mogę się za... Nie, to nie jest Catalina.